Two DJs in the mic, what's the vibe tonight? Talking issues, dropping gems, keep the game airtight. Spin it, flip it, mix it, fix it, yo, we here to ignite. Yo. Hands on the decks, but the crowd don't move. Blame the DJ, not check the groove. Playlist stale, need some brand new. Brakes full of dust, man, what you tryna prove? Yeah, clubs want cheap, DJs want respect. Promoters cutting corners, man, the scene's a wreck. Yeah, sink or scratch, doesn't matter the tech. It's about the energy, not the brand on the deck. Two DJs in the mic, turn the dark to the light. Dropping wisdom, spinning truth, get the balance just right. Two DJs in the mic, elevate, take flight. Fix the game, spark the flame, keep the future in sight. Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Two DJs, One Mic with myself, DJ Mike, and the popular DJ JP. We're joined with someone today that's going to teach us a lot of things about health that we need to know, and that's none other than Mr. James Earl II. How are you doing, sir?
James.
Yes, Coach James. Yes. That sounds better, right?
Yeah, Coach James.
Yeah, I feel like it has push-ups associated with it.
But I think it's more on the middle.
Yeah,
Is it on the middle side? Is it more on the middle side, sir?
Man, it's all encompassing. You know, you can't separate it out really.
No, you can't.
All right.
You can't.
All right.
So, how are you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. Really excited to have this conversation with you fellas and kind of peel back the layers on everything health and wellness.
All right.
I love that. Well, before we get into these questions, how did you get into this field? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. Oh, wow. You know those books, Choose Your Own Adventure?
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much like the way I would describe my journey into health and wellness. I came at it from a lot of different angles, but I actually started off as a social worker. I've always been active, always been in relatively good shape. And I actually started working out as a way just to manage a difficult time period in my life. And I just started to get good at it in a way, and people started asking me questions, right? And I started being able to answer those questions with
Are you a trainer?
Yeah. Are you a trainer? Right. Yeah. I started to answer those questions in a way that supported a lot of people's growth. And that kind of planted the seed of wanting to be in this industry. I think what's been most important for me during this time is I always, because of my social work background, have taken a holistic approach to health and wellness. So for me, it is more about just reps and sets and just telling someone not to eat this or to eat that. I try to look at the circumstances that surrounding a person that keeps them from meeting their goals. And so I really, long story short, just decided to get into this industry as an act of service. I think it's an extension of who I already am, you know?
Well, all right. So we got a little bit into that. Before we get into the Sankofa method, we already asked you who you were and what led you to that. So, well, in this wellness community. So I guess we really need to jump to Mike's question,
Yeah,
even though he had, and then he looking at me cross-eyed after you asked you.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. I just got so overwhelmed with joy.
Go and hush.
So what exactly is the Sankofa method, and what did you believe? I mean, what do you think is missing from traditional approaches to fitness and wellness?
Yeah. So I just kind of start off with the Sankofa method. Sankofa is West African principle that means go back and fetch it. So it is about taking the wisdom from the past, bringing it into the present to create a better future. And so a lot of the clients that I serve have been on this journey before. right? They've tried to get in shape. They have tried to prioritize their health, and along the way, they've stumbled. They've had setbacks, and so the Sankofa method is almost like a meta commentary where I am meeting them where they are at this point in time, and we're taking all of that wisdom and things that worked for them in the past, and we're going to take what we can. All right. And then also it's about me working with them in this moment so we can create what I feel is a more sustainable, lasting transformation, mind, body, and soul. And so it's really about taking those lessons that have made us, and those mistakes and those setbacks that have made us who we are, to create an opportunity for us to be our best selves in the future. And so it's through this idea that I believe that our health is the foundation of our purpose.
So do you kind of strip it down and say, if you can't be, you try to say, let's get healthy and then we can work on the other issues, or if you have a healthy body, you can have a healthy mind?
I look at it like this. I think everyone on the planet has a God-given purpose that they're meant to carry out. And it can it's going to be hard no matter how you slice it. You're going to have to go through some growing pains, right? But it's infinitely harder when you're not operating in good health. And so with that said, I try to look at, and this is kind of answer the second part of the question, I try to look at health and wellness holistically. I try to look at the environment that the person is in, the type of support that they have, how the job that they are working at can manifest in the gym and cause extra stress. I try to take a look at their relationship with food, their relationship with exercise. I try to take in all of these bits and pieces and try to create a plan and a pathway to support that will allow them to navigate all of these barriers. And so I think really sometimes traditional approaches to fitness don't necessarily look at the whole person. It's, you should do it this way. Everyone has the same 24 hours. If you wanted to, you would. Discipline, willpower, nothing wrong with those things, but I think the way that they get communicated on social media sometimes comes from a place of shame and superiority. And so what I try to do in this thing with Sankofa is really walk alongside of my clients. I'm not above them. I'm right alongside, and we are walking on this journey together.
So,
go ahead.
So if I could, because you said some things that just strike some thoughts in my head. Mm-hmm. So it seems that your approach is more of a customized approach based on the individual, where they're at, and all of those things, because that way it seems that you're more likely to come up with something that works and something that can be a lifestyle versus a trend.
Absolutely. And I think, I always like to I have this saying that says create a structure and operate freely within that structure. So for each of my clients, I have a couple of foundational principles that I want to emphasize. It's your basics. It's nutrition. It's sleep. It's hydration. It's stress management. It's movement. But how they actually carry out those goals is different, right? I may have a client that is only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Man, I wanted to get 7 to 9, but you know what? We got to focus on improving incrementally, right? I may have a client that has that has a capability to meal prep. But she's also, single 27-year-old woman versus a single mother of 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So
Changes.
the approach and
Changes dramatically.
the approach changes. The tools that I have at my disposal to support them changes. And so, yes, both of them should be eating well. Both of them should be moving their bodies. Both of them should be hydrating and sleeping. But how we get there is where the level of customization starts to come in.
Well, I got a lot of questions in my head, but if I get there, we won't get through these questions. Yes.
Hey,
Well,
free.
I'm just saying it just makes me think, because there's so many levels to this. And you had said something earlier, everybody has, hey, you need to go do 5 sets of curls, need to go do 200 push-ups, all of these different things that it doesn't necessarily mean that will work for this individual. It's like school. You have school that pretty much teaches everybody the same way, but they don't consider if this kid is audible or visual.
Exactly. 100%.
And if you don't consider that, you can think that this kid is slow or whatever. And it's not that. It's just you haven't realized how that kid learns. And that's not important in this system.
To your point, and I love what you're saying here, because one word comes to mind is curiosity. All right, I'm gonna start there. But I'm gonna ask you guys a question before I get into that. Like, have you ever gone to the doctor and the doctor just looks at your chart, what have you, and says, do X, Y, and Z, and there's no conversation?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Right. How does that make you feel?
Invisible.
Or like he don't care. He just another chart that you're looking at and rolling on.
Bingo. And I try to take the opposite approach. When a client comes to me, there has to be a certain level of curiosity. I have to ask questions. I have to ask the right questions. And yes, they are. There is a bias of expertise that the client is coming to me with. However, I will never be an expert in their own lived experience. And so trying to get an understanding of, what's shaping them right now, what's motivating them right now, what are some challenges and barriers, will allow me to teach them without giving them this blanket plan, this teaching to the test, so to speak, to use your analogy with the classroom. I'm able to really kind of teach them and guide them in a way that meets them where they are.
Yeah, I got you. Yes, sir.
All right, Jeff.
All right. Just say healthy extends me. You say health extends beyond the gym. So what are some things people overlook when they think about becoming healthier?
Man, I think the one thing that people really overlook, and I've been leaning into this a little bit more. And you heard me, Jay, talk about this at the Sheet Network. It's your environment. Your environment really impacts your health. And there's this concept in social work called person and environment, right? And so we come up with a lot of these interventions and these plans to support our clients, to support our patients, to support our students. But if that work, once they leave from your influence and enter into their regular environment, their home environment, the people around them, if that environment doesn't support them, doesn't support their health, it's stressful. There's junk food in the house. Maybe it's a relationship that doesn't serve them. Maybe it's they're overextended, as a caregiver or what have you. That environment is going to make it incredibly challenging to maintain their health in the way that's going to get them to their goals. So, as a health and wellness professional, that's the one thing I have the least amount of control over. However, it's one of the things that I really emphasize because I talk with my clients about structuring their environment to be successful. James Clear, he talks about this a lot in Atomic Habits. If you guys are familiar with that New York best-selling book, man, it's an incredible book. But yeah, your environment, I think, is one of the things that people overlook when it comes to becoming healthier. And then also that environment impacts the level of stress that we experience. So I'll also say stress. Right. Our body doesn't differentiate between how it experiences stress. So mental stress, work stress, going to the gym, not getting sleep, not eating well. Those are all negative stressors on our body. And I think we've all been in situations where are very stressful situations where once we were removed from that situation, we didn't even realize how stressed we were.
That is so true. Yes.
That is so, and that is like really like one of the things that makes stress, I guess, for the lack of a better term, so insidious is because we don't even know the impact that is having our body, but it is slowly and quiet.
It's a hidden killer.
Yeah,
it's the hidden killer and breaking us down. And to that point, there was a study on sleep, right? And I think the study was done by Stanford School of Medicine. Don't quote me on it, but the study talked about how individuals who got 6 hours of sleep thought they were functioning very, very well. Remember, the recommended is 7 to 9. However, once they took them through a battery of tests, for cognition and physical performance, they show over a period of time that there was a decline in cognition, a decline in performance. But guess what? They couldn't even tell. Their bodies couldn't even feel it. So sometimes with stress, we don't even feel what's going on. And it's one of the things that I really find that disconnects us most from ourselves is stress. It disconnects us from our emotions. It disconnects us from our bodies and how we move. So stress, environment, those are the two things that I feel people tend to overlook.
All right.
Okay, so this next question is a doozy. So what does trauma informed coaching mean, and how can someone's past experiences affect their current health behavior?
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. It's a couple of things. I want to go back to what we were talking about with the doctor. Right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the word, like when the doctor doesn't take time to chat with you, to speak with you, you feel invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when you really break it down, fellas, like people want to be seen. People just want to be seen. People want to be acknowledged. And so that's what I think that's the starting point for me when it comes to trauma-informed coaching. It's one, recognizing, calling people by their name, looking them in the eye. I work with a lot of women, and asking permission to instruct and touch and coach, and asking for consent. It is an example of what it means to be trauma informed. Also, it's how I talk about health. It's about empowerment and not shame. So if a client is struggling with their nutrition, it's not you're eating bad. Or even if a client is doing well, you're eating good. I try not to put food in binary categories. All right, because we assign morality to food. Right. So if we're eating quote unquote bad, then that means we're a bad person. and that doesn't do anything for long-term behavior change, right? And then if we're eating good, right, once again, that's on borrowed time, because we only are one stressful day away from, a binge of some sort. So you feel me? So
I surely do.
Yeah, really trauma informed coaching is about understanding that people come to you with things that you are not aware of, and you need to operate under. You have the presumption that there are things that they're navigating, and you have, as a coach, have to be mindful of how you communicate, how you talk, how you instruct, and how you coach. And so I've had clients who have had negative gym experiences where a coach has berated them. A coach has, calling them out of their name, been verbally abusive. And so there may be moments where I want to push a little bit harder, right? That may be something that sets them off or triggers them, right? And so once again, a lot of this information can be uncovered by asking questions.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, my clients, they default to me because they feel I have a level of expertise. But once again, going back to their lived experience, I'm not an expert in that. What shapes you? What has impacted you? What challenges have you had? How has your mom talked to you about food and shamed your body from the time that you were 7 years old? Right. Those are some of the things and some of the stories that my clients come to me with. And so, being a trauma-informed coach means that I am staying curious, that I'm asking those questions that peel back those layers so I can provide the support that's needed to guide them.
So go ahead, Joe.
No, go ahead.
So do you feel like due to the fact that so many of us operate from a trauma state of mind, that this has been something good for you in realizing how to be a coach that deals with trauma, or being trauma informed, helps you to better navigate with them in regards to helping them?
I see where you're going with that question. I have this belief that you can never take someone as far as you're willing to go yourself. Okay. And once again, with me having, my social work background, human behavior psychology background, I've also been a coach that's been in therapy. I have, navigated my own past, my own demons, my own trauma. Does that make me a better coach? Man, that's debatable. But I think it's been helpful. I think it's been extremely helpful. And I think like what I'm able to provide also is a missing link in the industry, which is an understanding of human behavior, understanding of psychology, an understanding of behavior change. And so as I have gone through my own process and my own growth and my own development, I think that in turn has allowed me to support my clients a little bit better. I've had conversations with clients where I feel we're coming up again, we're hitting blocks, and we're not being able to move things forward health related. And I've had clients that I've referred out to for therapy. I have clients that are right now and going through therapy and receiving coaching to me, and they see overlap. I'm not saying that I'm a therapist, but there is overlap in some of the work that we do. But yeah, Absolutely. I think being able to go through my own process and understand myself better as a human being, I think equips me to lead a little bit more effectively.
All right. Okay. We're going to keep the fire burning. All right.
Sorry, sir. Go ahead.
You focus on identity-based behavior change. How does changing the way you see how we see ourselves help us create lasting habits?
Yeah, great question. Great question. Think evidence. I think in order to really begin changing the way we see ourselves, we have to have evidence that supports the individual that we're becoming. All right, James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits. Like every action that you take is the vote of confidence for the type of person that you want to be. So if I have a client that prior to coming to me hasn't worked out, and we set a goal of 4 workouts a week, and they only hit 2, that is still a 50% improvement from where they started.
So you believe in dealing in the positive, no matter where we at, to
Exactly.
reinforce and create better habits, so it
Mm-hmm.
can be the positive thing.
Yeah. So I'm always with my with that identity based behavior change. Every action that they're taking, I'm finding that piece. I'm finding that action. I'm finding that piece that supports this identity of a healthy person.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had a client who fell off for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she got back on the wagon, and she got back. And what she told me was, because of how I'm viewing myself, it didn't take me as long to get restarted as it would have in the past. So whenever you start to really collect that evidence that you are succeeding no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
that you're moving things forward no matter what, that makes it really easy to see yourself as someone who is healthy. That makes it a lot more easy to see yourself as someone who can improve, someone who can make strides with their health.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why do so many people know what they need to do to become healthier, but they still struggle to consistently do it?
Yeah, man. There's a big gap between knowing and doing. There's a huge gap between knowing and doing. It's as wide as it's probably as wide as the
I was
Grand
trying to stay
Canyon.
on screen. I couldn't stay on.
It's actually it's actually off. It's actually off the screen. And when I think about this question, I think about one. I think about barriers. All right. And I think I'll tell you. Let me come at it from this way. People have a narrow definition of what healthy is, right? So there's this imprint that they have on their mind that health looks this way, that health should look this way. They think of health as restriction, right? I have to restrict my eating. I can't drink. I can't eat carbs, right? So they are approaching this journey already from a deficit of what they cannot do, instead of, once again, exploring the possibilities, that identity-based behavior change, right? Exploring the possibilities of what you can do, right? And so people really try to go at it at a pace that's not sustainable. right? And so they'll try to work out 4 or 5 days a week. They'll try to, meal prep and do all the things that they think they're supposed to do to be healthy. But when life hits, when stress hits, mom gets sick, the kids get sick, the car breaks down, all of those habits are on a house of cards. So I think what people struggle with is, like, and to answer the question why they need to become healthier but struggle consistently to do it, is the foundation isn't strong. And instead of focusing on incremental improvements, they're trying to swing for the fences every single time.
Don't we all do that? Let's hit a home run. We don't need singles or doubles. We need home run.
And you guys were talking about it with the podcast, right? And how you guys have been slowly and intentionally building, this podcast and building your audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's when you're trying to build anything that lasts, it has to have a solid foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the people struggle with setting that foundation that's going to support them long term.
Yeah.
And to add to that, I think in saying almost the same thing, I think their why is not sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah. I was there is gosh, I gotta pull it up right quick. It's on my phone. But I follow this great health and wellness platform.
And what was the name of that book again? You said James
Atomic Habits by James Clear. Yeah. But there's a great health and wellness platform on Instagram called Precision Nutrition. And they have this great post that talks about like 3 health and fitness goals if you want to avoid long-term change. So things that you have to avoid if you want long-term change. And a lot of people, the number one thing they had on here was having outcome-based goals versus behavior-based goals. Like their why isn't deep enough. So they just want to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
They don't want to do it to be healthier. They don't want to do it to do the other stuff. So
yeah, it's all about the number. And what it says on this particular slide, it says outcome goals describe how we want the things to be at the end of the process. So we all want to be rich. Do we want to save money? Do we want to delay gratification and not go out to eat or buy that bag, right? But it says you can't make your body do what you want it to, but you can control what you do. So it talks about those behavior-based goals, those process-based goals of eating better, of sleeping, of nutrition, right? And so I think that really gets into the heart of what you're saying is, okay, we can be outcome focused, and that's perfectly okay. But if that's the sole thing that is driving us, like it's not gonna set the foundation for sustainable change.
And it's something that I was thinking about the other day, and me and my wife was talking about this.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately a large majority of us, we want to live and we want to make better choices, but we live in a place that really did a great job of misinforming us and getting us to be addicted to things that are just not right for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think ultimately we want to be healthy, but the influence is so strong that it gives us a continual excuse to not do the things that we ultimately want to do.
It might, everything. I think when you look at both ends of the spectrum, like being healthy, trying to get healthy, in living life abundantly. It's fear based.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Totally.
It's so oh, if you get healthy, if you don't eat right, you're gonna die. Right. So you got to do that. Like everything is fear based on that end. And then if it's like, well, if you don't do this, you're gonna miss out. YOLO, you only live once, And the conversation that I try to have is somewhere in the middle.
Mm.
Right. And I try to get my clients to understand that health and wellness expands your life. It doesn't consume it.
Expands.
Yeah.
It's off the
screen. When you are sound, mind, body, and spirit, that is an expansive life.
Wow.
That is not a restrictive life.
So let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Because, we have a large amount of DJs that listen to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling a friend, I said, when I was doing intermittent fasting for almost a year, I felt like I was the best DJ that I could ever be because I was so focused.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I didn't have a lot of things in me that took away that. My stress level was good and I was focused.
Yeah.
Would you agree or disagree with that?
I would agree. And I would ask you the question, was it the intermittent fasting? Or was it the fact that you did something consistently for a period of time and you did it well?
I think it was both.
Absolutely.
I think it was both because they both supported each other.
Right. So to that end, that's one of the things that I always ask people when they talk about, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to work out. This is how I want to eat. This is all that. I ask it, all right, can you do it consistently? And can you do it consistently well?
Mm.
And do you see yourself doing it for the rest of your life?
That's the tough one right there, because we reach our goal and then so many people get to where they want to be and fall right back off the wagon. And sometimes even worse than it was before they did what they do.
And it's not the west side.
I can put y'all both on a plan and say, go do this for the next 2 weeks. And you would do well. But the question is, does the plan support you for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And that's why this journey isn't a quick fix, because to get to that answer, you have to go through trial and error. Right? Wow. But anybody can stay disciplined, right? Anybody can stay on top of things when they're not outside forces act upon them, when they're not people pulling for their and competing for their time and pressure and deadlines and things like that. But your ability to stay rooted in your habits is always in line with, or rather, you'll understand how deeply entrenched your habits are during times of stress, when it's inconvenient. Does that mean you execute that habit at the same level? No. But what happens is you're able to do it at a level where it still gets done. Right?
All right.
Go ahead, young Jeffrey.
All right. How much do our relationships, work environment, finances, and community affect our ability to live healthier lifestyles?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna answer this from a very broad perspective.
Okay.
All right. So there is this concept called the social determinants of health, or non-medical drivers of health. So these are the conditions where people eat, sleep, work, play, worship. And, because of the country that we live in, because of the political climate, because of just historically, how some communities have been able to prosper and other communities have not. These social determinants of health really impact the longevity of certain communities. And I'm gonna just go ahead and name it, our Black community, right?
Yeah.
When we look at traditionally in the Black community, we have been under-resourced, right? Whether it be through, redlining, whether it be through, discriminatory, housing practices, all of those things contribute to our health. Even our level of education. I don't know the exact,
statistics,
research and data in regard to this, but there is a correlation between your level of health and also your earning potential, and then also, your level of education, your earning potential, your health, and how long you live. And so, like, when we talk about health from a holistic standpoint, right? Like, relationships matter. When you have supportive relationships, you're more likely to take risk. You're more likely to be emotionally supported as well. You're not living in isolation, right? When you are in a work environment, you gotta realize work is probably the one place where we spend the most time at on a yearly basis. A work environment that at minimum doesn't add stress to your life, right? It may not be the best job, but doesn't stress you the hell out, will go a long way. And then finances, like that man, I can go any different way on this, but prolonged financial distress is shown to raise levels of cortisol, weight gain. It impacts your mental health, right? And our relationships in our community are kind of overlapping, but when you have a strong community that you can pull from, whether it be YouTube, whether it be your community, a community of DJs, you're not operating in isolation, right? And all of those factors contribute to our health mentally, contribute to our health physically, and emotionally. And so that, I love this question because this is a conversation that I have with my clients a lot. Is what does your community look like, right? What is your work environment? We don't necessarily get into finances or anything like that, but relationships, work environment, their community. I can tell when my clients have those things aligned and in line. It shows up in the gym every single time.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah. So DJs often work late nights, travel, eat irregularly, lose sleep, and deal with stress. What would you recommend for someone living that type of lifestyle?
So you got a irregular schedule. That's what you're telling me.
Very,
very, very irregular schedule.
Yes.
All right. If I were to talk to a DJ that lived this lifestyle, what I would the one thing I would make a recommendation first. I'd ask a question.
Okay. We're listening.
Please ask.
Yeah, I would ask you, of all of those things that we listed, what would be the easiest thing to change?
Whoa. Okay, let's see. Work late nights, that's hard. Travel, that goes along with it.
Irregular eating.
And you know what? And actually, let me rephrase it. What do you have the most control over?
Eating irregularly, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eating and dealing with stress.
Eating and dealing with stress. So now we finna go ahead and workshop this then. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we should go ahead and workshop this. So I'm gonna
Okay. All right.
We're gonna get the recommendation live. All right. So
All
now
right,
we're
all
talking about eating and dealing with stress. Okay. So eating irregularly. I'm assuming like we're talking about eating fast food as well, eating late at night.
Yeah, those two.
Okay. Right.
Or not eating at all.
Or not eating at all. Okay.
Well, not eating at all is
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
Yes, it is because it can. But go ahead, doctor.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
Yeah.
So now that let's say we're eating fast food. What do you like to eat fast food? Throw out a name.
Well, I hate McDonald's. Let's say Raising Cane's.
Right, Raising Cane's. Okay. Is there an option on the Raising Cane's menu that's a little healthier? No. Okay. All right. Step 2. So now we're going to go to step 2.
Okay.
Can you downsize the portion that you normally get?
Yes, we can get a kid's meal. Instead of getting a 6-finger, you could get a 2-finger.
Right. Okay. Could we, what do you think about, how do you feel about trading the soda for water?
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So bam, we solved it.
We solved it.
But hold on, that's the first step. Now,
okay.
I'm not saying to the audience out there, man, this is not the end point. This is just moving. Okay. I want to eventually move them along, right? But what we're doing is we made an improvement in some way. You're not necessarily getting the larger meal, but we portion control. And now we're going to talk about dealing with stress.
Okay.
All right. So how do you deal with stress normally?
Man, I think I really just fight through it. Or, if I'm stressed, I try to look for the end and how I'm going to get to where I'm trying. Let's say we're in a wedding and there's a stressful moment. I'm trying to figure out a way to fix it or get to the end, or I'm trying to get the end the right way to deal with it. And that's how I deal with it. I'm trying to look past the problem and figure out get to the solution. How can I get to the solution?
Has that worked well for you?
Normally it does, because if you don't have a way to get through it, you in heavy doo-doo then, big trouble. So that's how.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when has it not worked for you?
Go ahead.
Normally it doesn't. And something that my father, normally it does, because I'm trying to think of everything, or either I listen to somebody or bounce something off somebody with me or something, or the planner or whatever. But what my father always told me when it came to stress, don't panic in the situation. Do the panic after, let all of it, you think about what coulda, woulda after you get through it. That way your mind is clear to deal with what's going on in front of you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm thinking about what you're saying. And to me, that's not stress. That's a part of the job.
No, it can be stressful.
But I'm just saying it can be stressful. But to me, when I think of stress, I think about those things that are just gnawing on you, and not, hey, this is a problem and I got to solve that problem. So to me, that's not stress. That's a problem.
Mike, you beat me to the punch.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to, but I'm just thinking about it. That's because stress to me is something
that's not stressful in the moment.
No, that's just a problem.
No, that could be stressful, because your normal job is just.
I understand, but I'm just saying, when I look at just stress, I just see that different. That is stress.
Okay, so come on with your stress. What's your stress?
I'm just saying my stress is things that are going on in my life that are consistently bothering me, and how I deal with that is, I think, like so many, I've learned how to act like it doesn't exist.
Compress it.
And I try to compress it and keep going and try to not think about it until I'm reminded of something. And then it seems like it's just hitting you in the face and it never went anywhere. Yeah.
So I think, man, that's a great conversation, guy, that that we're getting at, because
all right,
stress can be in the moment and it can be long term. Like, that's the difference between acute and chronic stress.
Okay.
I think kind of as it relates to this question, we're really talking about like even chronic stress. However, chronic stress actually starts off as acute. So all of these, the things that you're talking about, Jay, like all of these fires that you're putting out, like that, the mental load that you're carrying, trying to figure these things out,
yes,
is exhausting, is stress. And so what I would want to know is, do you have 5 minutes in your day where you can put your phone down, you can go for a walk, you can breathe, you can listen to a podcast, you can pour back into yourself in a way?
You know, I do, and I need to start doing that. So
Yeah.
I agree with you totally. But like you say, 5 minutes is not a lot, but you know,
It is.
You act like you don't have. We all act like we don't have 5 minutes. And if I miss this phone call or this text or something, then it's just gonna ruin our business. For that's how we look at it.
But that's one of that's what stress does to us.
Mm-hmm.
Stress impacts our thinking in a way where everything feels urgent. We feel like we have less time than what we do. Yeah. So we got to answer that email. We got to answer that phone call.
That message from a client at 2 a.m.
That message from a client at 2 o'clock in the morning, because we're operating under so much stress that it's infected our thinking that, like, man, if we don't get this, everything is gonna fall through the crack. The whole house is gonna come tumbling down. And so just kind of taking that moment to pause, and this is actually a morning practice that I do, is when I get up in the morning before I go serve my clients, I do about 5 minutes of what I call box breathing. And then I try to invite the Lord into my day by listening to the gospel music, right? And all of those, between the 5 minutes and then listening to music, those are very passive activities that don't take a lot of time, right? And my big philosophy when I'm getting ready to go serve folk, when I'm ready to go get ready to help folk, is I gotta put some distance between me and them. So I can't
explain that. Please explain that. Yeah,
right.
Explain that.
So what I mean by that is I got to make sure that I am doing what I need to do to get myself situated mentally and emotionally before I go serve.
So as DJs, we need to get ourselves mentally and emotionally ready before we go to do an event. He does. I think you have that. Because I do too.
Because what's being asked of me are people are going to ask me questions. People are going to open themselves up emotionally to me.
Yes.
Right. There are different health and wellness projects I'm working on in the community. I got different deadlines. I got a lot of people that I'm accountable to, that I have to support. I got a girlfriend, I got daughters as well. So any number of these things can be pulling on me emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And I have to make sure that I have enough bandwidth to deal with those things. In my morning time and my morning routine isn't on some red pill, get yourself a routine because that's what a man's supposed to do, and not no. This is how I am of service to myself before I can go be of service to others.
I like that. 5 minutes. Everybody can get 5 minutes. I'm starting my 5 minutes tomorrow, and of course, I love gospel music, so that's an easy one. So yeah. And a walk.
And I send you my playlist, man. I got the Clark Sisters on there. If you like the Clark Sisters, my brother.
I like the Clark Sisters.
Yeah, man.
Living is my favorite, one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Mike. Oh, this is me? No,
of course it is. Do you not want to answer
the
question?
What's the difference between making a temporary lifestyle change and building habits that you can realistically do for years? Wow, that's just like me trying to do 5, but I need to go from 5 to 10 to 20 and just get 30 minutes in the morning where I'm actually
deal with the 5 first.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying just deal with the 5. But go ahead, sir. Answer.
Yeah, I think it's we touched on it. A temporary lifestyle cannot sustain life events.
Mm-hmm.
So when the stress hits you, when life starts happening, then the lifestyle no longer exists. All right. Building habits that can last realistically for years means that you have the ability to be flexible. You can only be as consistent with your lifestyle over a number of years as you are flexible. All right. So remember that what I was talking about a little bit earlier is that the reason people don't adopt this lifestyle, even though they know that it would benefit them, is they think it's so rigid.
Mm-hmm.
They think you're going to put yourself in this box. So when they started, they got themselves in this box. So they're already operating from that mindset that, like, I got to do it this way. I got to do it this way. And we get into this all or nothing thinking, right? Which is another difference between these two lifestyles, temporary lifestyle and one that's more sustainable. Is the all or nothing thinking says that if I can't do or engage in this lifestyle perfectly the way that I want, then I don't do it at all. And so what ends up happening is a person misses one workout and that turns into 2. And the next thing you know, we got a whole week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They miss a meal, right? Or they don't meal prep. And then instead of making, a portion control decision at Raising Cane's, they'll get, they'll splurge. And so having the ability to build habits that can realistically last for years requires flexibility. You have to be flexible. And a temporary lifestyle is rigid. And at some point, that stick is gonna break under pressure, right? But a lifestyle that is sustainable is like bamboo. Very, very, very resilient.
Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good.
All right. Well, we got one more question for you. So if someone watching tonight knows they need to improve their health but feels overwhelmed, what's the first realistic step you would tell them to take?
Shameless plug. They need to go to thesankofamethod.com. Go to contacts, fill out that inquiry, and holler at me. I'll get you on the right path. But if you can't do that, what I would tell them is, once again, questions. What's the one thing that I can do right now that's low-hanging fruit that I can do consistently over the next month? Okay? Now, based on whatever habit that is, whether that be drinking water, getting more sleep, what have you, create a floor and create a ceiling. So if I want to drink if I want to increase my water intake, I'm not drinking any water. All right. But I want to get up to 40 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
That's my ceiling. But no matter what, I'm not going to go below 20.
That's your floor.
That's your floor. So first question is what can you do? Ask yourself what you can do consistently over the next month. Set a floor and ceiling for that particular habit. And then the last thing that I would say is get an accountability buddy. All right?
Yeah, yeah.
You build a community around this habit. All right, okay. That is going to support you when things get challenging.
I have a question. I mean, it's not on our thing, but I want to ask you. So you've dealt with a few people in our industry. Do they really seem? I mean, I'm sure there's other people, scientists, doctors, other people dealing with more stress than us. But how are people in our industry, planners, people you've dealt with? How are they when it comes to their stress level or their work habits, or are they easy to break? I mean, I know it all depends on the person too, but I just address maybe somebody you
It's
work with.
it's a man. It's for people in you guys' industry. It is a learning curve. It is a learning curve to get you guys to slow down. Because if I made it describe the industry, it is fast paced.
Yeah.
Very,
It is
very fast.
it is a very fast paced industry.
Yeah.
So the approach that I take is all right, regular workout, nutrition, exercise prescription, however you want to slice it, isn't going to fit you guys' lifestyle
Hmm.
unless you just put everything down,
You're
right?
right. Because we
So
already living in regular life.
right, you're living in. So what I tried the conversations that I try to have is a lot of times it's about setting boundaries around your time, right? Because the environment that you guys are in this industry is probably what's affecting your health the most. So a lot of my coaching is in and around what can you do to make your environment or your working conditions a little bit more tenable, where you can free up capacity to focus on your health, right? So I'm just trying to create a little bit more space mentally to engage with the work that's going to be required of you to be more healthier, right? And I think that's one of the things like that I've seen from some wedding professionals is the mental bandwidth.
Hmm.
Where you have so much on your plate and going on, like sometimes working out, sometimes eating right, and everything that comes with it, like that can feel like one more thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. One more thing, you already just trying to get your morning started or doing something. And it's
Right.
just, yeah. So real quick, before, I mean, I'm trying to be respectful of coach's time. If we got any questions, any health questions, anything y'all want to ask real quick. If not, Mike, you got anything else? We'll give them a couple seconds here to get in. But
Well,
man, go ahead.
no, I'm just grateful for the conversation because it really does help. And I think in life when we feel like we have all the answers and we don't trust being able to be in a situation where you can get a different perspective, it's just hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard because you need you need another perspective.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's nothing like, and I'm pretty sure for you, going through some things in life made you better at being a better coach. And I'm pretty sure even going to school and learning the things that you learned, it was nothing like the experience itself.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between theory and application.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, I've got plenty. I got plenty of certifications. Got 2 degrees, but like that real world experience of dealing with people and um, coaching people and guiding people, that can't be replaced. And one of the big things um, that I enjoy most about coaching, and this is something that um, my therapist shared with me. She said relationships are the lens through which we view ourselves.
Mm.
So I see myself. You take any given point in my life, and I can see myself with through the clients that I'm coaching. And so I always have this mindset that, you know, as I'm coaching, I've either gone through it, right? I may be in it, or it's been something that or it's been something that I've conquered, right? And I beat. So I say that to say, like, once again, being a coach is not about power over, right? It's about power with. So I'm walking empowering my clients.
Well, once again, it's been great. You've put us on the edge and got me knowing I'm gonna start with my 5 minutes in the morning and a walk, and my gospel. Send me that playlist. You got me.
I got you.
Is it on Spotify or Apple? What is it on?
It's on Apple.
Okay, send it to me.
And I am your accountability partner.
But I mean, we got to start somewhere. I mean, I'll just give a good praise report or a good health report. I went to the doctor today. I lost 10 pounds, and it's only because my wife has been telling me less, or like you said, instead of having 3 or whatever from Raising Cane's, have 2, do a kid's meal or have a salad, or just drink water. So all those little things have been helping. So I think if you just put in a little bit of effort, you never, because he was just extremely like, oh man, you lost 10 pounds. And I was like, yeah, I was shocked, because I was like, the belt's been a little looser, but I was like, I ain't lost no weight. Every time I do that, I ain't. But
and that's that. I know we get ready to get out, but that's so cool about making those small changes. Because like when you get the outcome of those changes, you're like, dang, I didn't even really do all that much.
Yeah.
And then that increases the motivation to even do more. Because man, great work.
I don't know who this is, but this is true. I wish I lived near the water too, where you could just go and walk down the beach and walk in the sand or whatever and just hear the waves. We went to San Diego last year. That was just so relaxing, so refreshing. But yeah, that would be cool. But
we do have a question.
Oh, we got a question. CP.
What suggestions do you have to stop absorbing your client's wedding day stress?
Oh man, CP. That's a process that probably begins before the wedding. Right.
Okay.
Like I would pose questions back to you, my brother. Like what does the lead up to the wedding look like? Are you constantly available? Right? Are they able to hit you up at 2 a.m. in the morning, like my boy Jay?
No, bro, I roll over. I don't answer those.
Right? Is there a clear process that you have in place that will give your clients peace of mind? And so I think I would say maybe some of the stress that you may be absorbing, maybe because of the way the relationship is defined long before we even get to the wedding day. I know that's not a practical answer, but I'm really big on questions.
But it's funny, you
ability to solve their own problems if you ask the right question. But I would ask that to you, CP. What does the lead up to the wedding day look like, and how can we put some things in place to improve that so there's not a lot of wedding day stress?
It reminds me of something a friend told me. You teach people how to treat you.
Yep. And it reminds me of when you give a person a huge discount, they will be the biggest pain in your behind. So that's a lot of it right there. So that's what CP probably doing. I'll hook you up. Yeah, no, don't hook them up.
I'm giving them discounts, CP.
Hook them down. Hook them down. Yep. Well, Coach, hey man, once again, I think this is the third time I've heard you speak or talk to you, and I really appreciate it. And every time I've had a moment to talk to you, I have truly enjoyed it, sir. And thank you for hopping on with us, and we look forward to hearing you somewhere in the future.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys giving me this platform, man. Be blessed in everything that you do, and I'll make sure to tune in to the next episode.
5 minutes.
Right. Thank you, brother.
All right. Accountability.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah.
In the mic, what's the vibe tonight? Talking issues, dropping gems, keep the game airtight. Spin it, flip it, mix it, fix it. Yo, we here to ignite. Yeah, hands on the decks, but the crowd don't move. When the DJ not check the groove. Playlist still need something brand new. Crates full of dust, man, what you tryna prove? Clubs want cheap, DJs want respect. Promoters cutting corners, man, the scenes are wreck. Yo, Sankofa scratch, doesn't matter the tech. It's about the energy, not the brand on the deck. 2 DJs and a mic, turn the dark to the light. Dropping wisdom, spinning truth, get the balance just right. Two DJs and a mic, elevate, take flight. Fix the game, spark the flame, keep the future in sight. Yeah. Fake followers and played streams. Bitches and clout but killing dreams. Then he's playing politics, killing the scene. But we bring solutions, not just a meme. Pay the DJ, they the life of the spot. Don't let the boot get cold when the dance floor's hot. Respect the craft, don't reduce it to a bot. It's an art form, now they get the time for God. Hey, dynamite, oh. Hey, dynamite, hey, dynamite, oh. Hey, dynamite,